Good morning. This is Norma Cowie with a Sunday Thought. If you've read the big long opening that I typed up, it will talk about how I spent a very frustrating week, mainly because of Facebook deciding to change things. I wasn't really thinking too much about what was happening when I went onto my professional page, Norma Cowie Psychic Life Consultant, and all of a sudden found I couldn't type what I wanted to put out. So I began days of coming and trying to figure it out, couldn't figure it out, getting more and more frustrated. Now, maybe it's my age, but I don't live a very frustrating life anymore. Everything's pretty calm, settled, and I've almost forgotten what being frustrated was like. And then all of a sudden, and Facebook was like, for me, frustration city. I was getting frustrated. I was ready to, I didn't know what I was ready to do. I just wanted to be able to input regular text both on my homepage and my professional page. That's all I wanted. As most people may know who watch my Facebook stuff, I do upload my YouTube things on there. And it just, anyway, it was terrible. I was frustrated. I was getting more and more angry. I tried to contact Facebook, couldn't figure out how to do that. I was feeling very redundant. Like, I don't know what to do here. Then I was having lunch with a friend on Saturday, because today's Sunday. And she knows computers really well. And I mentioned that I was having trouble with Facebook and that I didn't know quite what to do and what I was going to do. And she just happened to say, well, do you have it on your phone? And I said, well, yeah, I do. And to my joy, it came up and I have to input differently than doing my typing thing, but typing out a message and adding in, it was like normal. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. But then I realized a lot of the things I do, I might do most of them on the computer. So I came home and it seemed like I was able to also upload regular. I don't know what happened, what I did correctly or not. I'm still not sure about my professional page. But anyway, what I wanted to speak about is that how do you handle frustration when you get frustration? How do you handle that? What do you do? Now, as I said, I live a very very calm, I was going to say unfrustrated life, a very calm, easygoing, know my schedule, have it written out, have a lot of downtime. It's like, for me, I don't feel frustrated too often anymore. Not at all. Don't get that. And so it was unusual for me to feel this anger boiling. And, sometimes anger brings about a sense of aliveness. And mainly it was just frustration, though. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what, and I felt like the more frustrated I got, the more I was unable to figure it out. So, and that's why I thought, this to me is where I go to hopefully inspire people or have them think about different things. So it really, to put it into that light, I would like you just to think about what really frustrates you. Because in my book, if something frustrates you and you don't really like it, then what's it doing in your life? And that's where I was with Facebook. What alternative do I have? I was thinking, this is how I was thinking. What do I do? Where do I go from here? What do I do if this thing isn't going to work? And so often we find that with technology. I often have had this happen with other things. Like, I'm really used to using it, and all of a sudden they decide to make it easier, simple. And I honestly had to let them go because I couldn't do it, couldn't figure it. And it's like knowing your own frustration level, number one. Realizing it comes because you feel helpless. Anger comes because you feel helpless. Now, you have two ways you can go when there's a situation in your life. You can either go sad or mad, as I call it. It's two sides to the same coin. Is this big coin. One side can go like sad, which is depression. Other way, mad is, which is anger. But if you go deeper, it's always because you feel helpless. And that's exactly what I was feeling. I was helpless. I could not figure out what these changes they'd made weren't working in my advantage at all. And I just really, and then I was supposed to be able to go back, but I couldn't figure out how to go back. I was overwhelmed for sure. So let's pray that from now on, I will be able to access my homepage and my professional page with ease, put in what I want to put in without having to go through all this craziness. Actually, I had found the professional page was getting, it's been weird for me for a little while. But anyway, that's another story. What we want to talk about is understanding you're sad and you're mad. Understanding that really you need to go deeper to your helpless. What is it you're feeling helpless with? Maybe you're having communication issues with somebody and they're not listening. Maybe you just don't know what to do, which is the state I was in for the majority of this last week. And it's amazing how I've forgotten how it disturbs you. And it begins to infiltrate into other things. Being sad or being mad is not a great. A lot of my life I went the sad trip. I went it because I didn't understand it, and it was easier to go and be depressed and miserable and feeling down and out. And nobody cared, blah blah, all that stuff. And occasionally I would get into the other side where I would get mad, but I'm not really a mad person, like in the sense of getting angry or getting this. But man, I sure was frustrated this week. And I hope and pray none of you have to go through frustration, because it is so debilitating. Number one, it is so sad. It is so hard when you're doing that. If you can stay and recognize, I mean, I knew where all that comes from. I knew that I was feeling just frustrated up to the ears, but I didn't know how I was going to correct that. And thank goodness for my friend who was visiting, and I won't be seeing her again for a few more months, but she knows computers. She knows programming. She's a whiz, actually. She's brilliant. She does computer art. And I don't understand it at all, but she does it a lot. I just want you to know that you don't have to live in frustration. What you need to do is deal with your helplessness in the moment. Of course, I forgot all about that this week until I got resolved. I forgot about that part. I just didn't want to do, every day I'd go in and try and sort it out, and every day I'd leave it because I was overwhelmed, frustrated, didn't know what to do. Like to say happily report, trustingly, and I really don't know because I haven't tested it this morning, that I'll be able to get back on Facebook. So you have a great, great week. If you do have any frustration, remember, what am I feeling helpless about? And what can I do about that? Sometimes we just have to accept. And now acceptance is a whole nother lesson and message, but sometimes we just have to accept this is the way it is. And then you're free to make a decision about it. So you have a great week. It's sun shining, it's warm, it's delightful. Go enjoy. And thank you for watching.